My name is Daniel Reed. I worked search and rescue in Black Pine National Park for almost 8 years. In that time, I found people with broken ankles on ridgelines, hikers lost in fog, campers who stepped too far off trail for a photograph and could not find their way back. The forest is rarely evil. Most of the time, it is simply indifferent. That is what I believed. But for the Ethan Walker case, Ethan was 27, from Portland, a normal guy, backpack, camera, tent, small stove, and a leather-bound journal. He came alone to hike the old Mill Creek Trail. The trail had been closed for 2 years after a landslide, but people still went in. They always do. His last message to his sister was sent at 4:42 p.m. The trail feels strange, but it's beautiful. I'll be back tomorrow. He did not come back tomorrow. On the second day, his car was still at the north parking lot. On the third day, they called us in. There were 5 of us. I was team led. Maya Clark was our medic. Tom Hale was our navigator. Lucas Bent was the new rescue tech. And Ranger Allison Frost knew that park better than anyone alive. She always said old trails have memory. Back then, I thought that was just something rangers said. We entered the trail at 7:15 a.m. The morning was gray. The sky hung low over the tops of the pines. The forest smelled like wet bark, needles, and dark soil. At the entrance to the closed trail, the warning sign was still hanging there. Danger, trail closed. Someone had bent it aside. The first 2 miles were easy. We found Ethan's tracks, a broken branch and the wrapper from an energy bar tucked under a stone. He had not been lost. He had been walking with purpose. Then the trail started to feel wrong. Not dangerous. Wrong. The trees stood too evenly. Pines, firs, dead trunks, old stumps, everything repeated. I kept thinking I had already seen the fallen tree on the right side of the path, and the rock with white lichen, and the fork where the left trail dropped toward the creek. Tom stopped and pulled out his compass. The needle turned north, then west, then made a full circle. The GPS said we were still at the parking lot, even though we had been walking for almost an hour. At 10:06, we found Ethan's tent. It stood in a small clearing between black pines. Neat, zipped shut, no sign of struggle. Beside it were a cup, a small stove, a packet of oatmeal, and a camera on a tripod. The fire was out, but the ashes were still warm. Maya opened the tent. Inside were a sleeping bag, a backpack, a spare jacket, a map, and the journal. I opened it. The first entries were normal. Day 1 left the parking lot at 12:20, weather overcast, trail overgrown but passable. Then the entries started repeating. Day 2 awoke at 7:30, heard footsteps near the tent, probably a deer. Day 3 woke at 7:30 again, heard footsteps near the tent, probably a deer. Day 4 woke at 7:30 again, heard footsteps near the tent. It was not a deer. The last line was short. If they come looking for me, do not answer when you hear your name. Under the line, Ethan had drawn 5 vertical marks. 5 people. We did not know yet that they were us.
Lucas turned on Ethan's camera. Somehow, the battery was almost full. On the recording, Ethan sat by the fire. His face was tired. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. He looked into the lens and whispered, as if he was afraid to wake something nearby. If anyone finds this, I don't know what day it is. My phone says Tuesday. The journal says this is the 7th Tuesday. I wake up at the same time. The fire is always warm, the food returns to the bag, tracks disappear, but the trees remember. Then he turned the camera toward the woods. A person stood between the trees, too far away to see the face. Ethan whispered, "That's me." The recording ended. Nobody spoke. Then a branch snapped somewhere in the forest. Maya called out,
"Ethan, search and rescue! Can you hear us?"
The answer did not come right away. First, the forest moved. Not all of it. Just a few trees. Like wind had passed through one small part of the woods while everything else stayed still. Then a voice said, "I'm here. Young, weak male." I called back, "Ethan, I'm here." The voice came from the left. We followed it. 5 minutes later, we walked back into the clearing. Tom stopped first. No. He was staring at the tent, the fire, our own footprints leading into the clearing from the same direction we had just come from. We made a circle, Lucas said. "We couldn't have," Tom said. I walked straight. We tried again. This time I marked the trees with red tape. We walked for 20 minutes. The trail dropped, curved along a dry creek bed, and climbed between rocks. Then we came back to the tent. My red tape was already hanging from the tree beside it. Only now it was old, faded, like it had been there for months. Maya took off her pack. "What time is it?" My watch said 11:41. My phone said 11:41. The radio said 11:41. But the GPS showed tomorrow's date. Then we heard another voice. This one called Lucas. Lucas, soft, almost loving, from deep in the trees. Lucas lifted his head. "Who is that?" "Do not answer," I said. He looked at me. "That's my mother." The voice came again. "Lucas, come here. I found the way out." Lucas took one step. Allison grabbed his sleeve. "That is not her." "How do you know?" Allison said, "Because the forest always uses whatever makes you take the first step yourself." I turned to her. "What do you know?" She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "This trail was not closed because of a landslide. That was when the cuts appeared on the trees. Fresh marks, bright lines in dark bark, one on each trunk. The first tree had my name, Daniel. The next one, Maya. Then Tom, Lucas, Allison. The cuts were uneven, but the wood underneath was pale and wet. Fresh, farther in, dozens of other names covered the trees. Old names, new names, names of people who had vanished in the park over the years. And Ethan's name was there too. But his was different. It had not been carved into the bark. It looked like it had grown from inside the tree. Allison whispered. He already agreed. To what? Maya asked. But Allison did not answer. The forest did. Every tree around us creaked at the same time. And Ethan stepped out between the trunks. Ethan stood at the edge of the clearing in the same jacket from his photos. Thin, dirty, backpack over one shoulder. At first he looked alive, but he was too calm. "You came," he said. Maya stepped forward. "Ethan, we're taking you out of here." He smiled. "No, you came to finish the day." A cold feeling moved through me. What day? Ethan looked up at the gray sky. The last one. Tom raised the radio. "Base, this is Reed Team. We need emergency extraction coordinates are." The radio hissed. Then Tom's own voice answered from the speaker. "Base, this is Reed Team. We need emergency extraction." Tom froze. The voice continued. "Coordinates are useless. We are already here." Ethan did not move. "The forest does not kill you," he said. "It gives you time to understand." "Understand what?" "That the exit is not a place, it is an agreement." Lucas suddenly ran. Not toward Ethan. Away from him. Down the trail. We ran after him. He was fast. Panic makes people fast, but not smart. He crashed through branches, jumped roots, and disappeared around a bend. 1 second later, we were back at the tent. Lucas was standing beside the fire, pale, shaking, looking at us like he had never seen us before. "I ran for an hour," he said. Less than a minute had passed on my watch. After that, we stopped trying to move without a plan. We sat around the dying fire and checked everything. Maps, compasses, GPS, radios, moss on the trees, the sky behind the clouds. Everything lied, except the journal. I opened Ethan's notes again. The more I read, the clearer it became. He had gone through the same thing. First day, fear. Second day, trying to leave. Third day, voices. Fourth day, names on trees. Fifth day, objects returning. Sixth day, seeing himself. Seventh day, the offer. The offer was written in one sentence. If you stay, the day stops hurting. By evening, it started getting dark. Even though my watch said 1:08 p.m., the woods tightened around us. The trail vanished under moss. Ethan's tent looked older than it had that morning. Maya noticed the objects first. Beside the tent were things that had not been there before. My old compass, Tom's dented flask, Maya's medical strap, Lucas's glove, Allison's ranger keys. They were wet, dirty, and covered with pine needles, like they had been lying there for a very long time. Tom picked up his flask. "I lost this 3 years ago." Allison looked at her keys. "And I lose these tomorrow." Nobody asked how she knew, because then Ethan's journal opened by itself. The pages turned to a blank sheet. Words began to appear, slowly, unevenly, as if they were being written from inside the paper. Day 1 Reed Team entered at 7:15. Then, "Lucas will run first. Tom will try to follow the stars. Maya will hear a child. Allison will return to the old tree." The final line appeared slower than the rest. "Daniel will stay the longest." I slammed the journal shut. Somewhere in the forest something laughed. Not loudly, not cruelly. It sounded like dry leaves moving over the ground. "What does stay mean?" Lucas asked. Ethan answered, "It means he will remember." He was still standing at the edge of the clearing, but now there were more people behind him. Shapes between the trees. Men, women, teenagers, hikers in old jackets, rangers, hunters. Everyone who had once vanished here and never come back. They did not look dead. That was worse. They looked tired, like people who had been living the same day for a very long time. "The forest does not want blood," Allison said. Her voice was empty. It wants someone to agree to become its memory. I turned to her. "You've been here before." She nodded. 20 years ago, I was part of a team searching for 2 students. We got out. I thought we got out. But she looked at her keys in the grass. Every year, I came back to this trail. Even after they closed it, I told myself I was checking signs, protecting hikers, but that wasn't true. She looked at Ethan. The forest was calling me back. Ethan smiled. "Because you left part of yourself here." Dusk fell in seconds. Our flashlights turned on by themselves. And then our last day began, or the first repeat of it. We were standing again at the sign. Danger, trail, closed. It was 7:15 a.m. Gray sky, quiet wind, packs on our shoulders. Lucas understood first. He dropped to his knees and screamed. Maya tried to lift him. Tom stared at the GPS. Allison stood with her eyes closed. I reached into my pack. Ethan's journal was inside. Even though a minute earlier, I had been holding it beside the tent. On the first page, a new line had appeared. Day 1. They still think they are looking for Ethan. We walked again. Because if we stood still, the forest moved closer. Yes, the trees moved, not while you watched them, but every time you looked away, they were closer. The trail narrowed, the air grew heavier, roots lifted out of the ground like fingers. We reached the tent at 10:06 as before. The fire was warm, the camera stood on the tripod. Only this time the recording was not of Ethan, it was of us. We were sitting by the fire at night, dirty and silent, and behind us something walked slowly between the trees. Lucas broke on the 3rd repeat. He heard his mother, then his father, then his own voice. By the morning of the 4th repeat, his name on the tree had grown darker. He walked to the trunk and placed his hand on the letters. "I'm tired," he said. Maya grabbed his shoulder. "Don't." He looked at her and smiled so calmly that I knew he was already gone. "The day stops hurting," Lucas said. A minute later, he stood among the shapes behind Ethan. Same jacket, same backpack, perfectly calm. Maya disappeared on the 6th repeat. She heard a child crying from the ravine. She had no children, but she had a younger brother she had once failed to save. The forest knew that. The forest knew everything that hurt. Tom lasted until the 9th. He tried to navigate by stars, even though the sky stayed blank. Then tiny white points appeared in the moss, like constellations. He followed them and did not come back. Allison left on her own. She walked to an old tree with a deep scar in the bark. Her name was there, old, almost grown over. "I should have stayed then," she said. "No," I told her, "you survived." She shook her head. "No, I left without permission." and the forest took what it had always considered its own. Then I was alone. I do not know how many times the day repeated after that. The journal stopped counting after 20, or maybe 100. Sometimes I woke at the warning sign, sometimes at the tent, sometimes at dusk sitting by the fire with Ethan's camera facing me. I tried to burn the journal. The next morning, it was back in my pack. I broke the compass. It returned whole. I screamed into the trees that I would never agree. The forest said nothing. Ethan came every evening. He sat across the fire from me and watched. "Why me?" I asked once. "Because you are still looking for the exit," he said. "And you?" He looked at the trees. "I found my role." "You're helping it." "I'm helping people stop running." One morning I woke and realized I could not remember Maya's voice, then Lucas's face, and Tom's last name. The forest took them from me unless I wrote them down. So I started writing everything, every repeat, every mistake, names, voices, objects, the things the forest said. That is how the new journal began. Not Ethan's, mine. On the last page I wrote, "If you find this, do not trust the voices. Do not follow someone you love. Do not answer when the forest calls your name. And if you see your name carved into a tree, do not touch it." I thought it was a warning. Now I understand. It is bait. Because anyone who reads a warning wants to know what happened to the person who wrote it. That is how the forest chooses new people. This morning, I woke at the sign, "Danger Trail Closed." It was 7:15 a.m. 4 rescuers stood on the trail. They were looking for me, not Ethan. Me? I stood between the trees and wanted to scream, "Leave." But the forest already knew my voice. And when the tall man with the tired face looked toward me, words came out of my chest that I did not choose. "I'm here." He raised his head. "Daniel?" I wanted to say no. I wanted to say run. I wanted to say do not answer. But the forest whispered around me with 1,000 leaves. And the day began again. I smiled and said, "I found the way."